Hey guys, it's Gio. Last month my agency made 30K in a single month, and this video I wanted to make a video going over how I would make $5,000 if I absolutely had to in the next 7 days. And I got inspiration from this video from William Brown, so full credit to him for the idea, but I wanted to share this with you because I understand that people earlier on in their journey in the online business space and making money online might find this useful, because I sure as hell definitely would have earlier on in my journey. So yeah, let's just dive into it. There are a few main components that go into drafting a game plan and actually executing on a game plan to make $5,000 in the next 7 days online. And I wanted to break it down in a few steps. And I'm going to assume in this video that you are completely brand spanking new to the online business world. Okay? So you have no audience, no money, no nothing. So what you need to determine, because effectively what business is at the core principle, which is what you're doing, if you're trying to make money with some kind of, a product, whether it's a service or a physical product, is you are exchanging value. So we need to figure out what value can we exchange for $5,000. And what I would recommend is selling one or two high ticket products. So either that's a service or a coaching offer. Because again, if you have zero, you have no money, no audience, no capital, nothing, the best way to start is just by trading your time. So, because you don't need anything, it's free, your time is free. Because you make no money, so your time is not valuable yet. So, okay, what do we sell is what we need to determine. How are we gonna sell it is the second thing we need to determine. It's very, very simple. What are we gonna sell and how the hell are we gonna sell it? So let's talk about what it is exactly that we are going to sell first. As I just mentioned, as I just alluded to, we're not going to be selling a physical product because it takes time to design, build, produce, test it, etc., etc. We're going to sell a physical product. So if we have 7 days or a week, and assuming you have nothing, no skills, absolutely nothing, we're going to spend the first day learning about a specific skill. In this day and age, probably something to do with AI marketing or sales is going to be a good one. I would probably say copywriting might be the easiest one to sell, or maybe you already have a skill. Maybe you're good at fitness, maybe you're good at teaching, whatever it is you're good at. You need to assess what skills you have that you can sell that will be valuable to people. You'd be surprised if you know how to, save a marriage. Maybe you're a really good coach. Maybe you're a really good, a therapist, or you're a good manifestation. You're really into manifestation. One of my clients at the agency is a manifestation coach, and he sells $5,000 programs. So effectively, we just need to determine one thing that you have very, very good knowledge in. If you don't have any knowledge in anything, I'm gonna scrap that. Don't spend a day. Get good at something before you do this. Let's just assume you have something you're good at, whether it's fitness, relationships, marriage counseling, as I said, manifestation, mindset, performance, so many things that you can niche down in and have expertise in. So you have this expertise, and what we're gonna sell is we're just going to sell our time. We're not gonna go through and make a course. We're not gonna spend time doing any of that because we don't have time. We have 7 days. So we're just gonna do our time. We're gonna sell one-to-one coaching for, let's say, a 3-month package, and you're gonna sell that for $3,000 to $5,000. And then challenge is we need to sell one of those in the next 7 days. And I would say also another component of that is we need to craft a compelling sort of marketing message, meaning we need to craft a compelling sort of offer. So, for example, it's one thing to say, I am a fitness coach and I have a fitness offer. That's not really compelling. And it's another thing to say, I help CEOs and executives shed the fat that they've put on as a result of sacrificing their health for their career. Very compelling. So and you could even add a time frame, so in 90 days, in 3 months. So that's a compelling offer that has a direct person that you're selling to, or direct avatar, which you want to pick one. You want to pick a niche. You want to pick one type of customer that you help. A product, so a outcome, so you help them shed fat. A time frame is very useful because it gives them an expectation of how long this is going to take. And if you want, you can always give a guarantee, which I would recommend if you're very early in the game. Just give a guarantee, which basically says, or a risk reversal, which is that if you don't get the result, you get your money back. So now we have the offer. Craft that offer. Just take that sentence of I help X person do X result. And there's two ways you can go about this. You can either advertise a result that you help people go towards. So I help people get their dream body, which is the dream outcome, or you can get them away from pain, which is usually the more strong offer messaging, if you will, is getting away from pain. We know that people are more motivated, animals just in general are more motivated by getting away from pain than they are getting towards pleasure. So I help X person, and pick someone who has money, by the way, because if you sell to people who don't have money, then you're gonna have a hard time. So don't sell to students or unemployed people. Sell to people who already have money, who are already successful. Achieve the desired outcome or lose the fat, which is the pain, get away from the pain, in time frame, 90 days in this case, since I think that's, if you're starting out, a good one-to-one coaching term is 90 days, or their money back. So there's your offer statement. So that's the what are we going to sell. So now the question is, how are we going to sell it? If you have no money, if you have no audience, if you have no connections, you have absolutely nothing, you're just a guy and you've got no meaningful connections, the only feasible way I see of doing this, and I've done this before in the past, by the way, is to again trade your time. What marketing method do we have? What are the options that we have? We have paid ads, which if you have nothing, then probably you don't have the budget for it. We have organic content, which can work, but if you've never done content before, the odds are in 7 days that a piece of content is going to get you a high-ticket customer is very, very low because you're not good at making content yet. We have warm outreach and cold outreach, which are the other two mechanisms. Warm outreach means you reach out to people who you already know or who already know you. Cold outreach is you reach out to people who have no idea who you are. Those are the two methods that we're going to use because they don't require money, they don't require skill, they require time. Now I will say, when you are reaching out to people, you want to be saying the right stuff. But an example is you will go on LinkedIn or Instagram or find a way of finding your ideal prospects' emails. But LinkedIn and Instagram typically are very good mechanisms for outreach. Email is fantastic as well. If you can find their phone number, actually calling them or messaging them, SMS is also incredibly powerful. But we want to find these people on social media. So if they are CEOs or executives or professionals or doctors or whatever it is, we want to find those on social media, which shouldn't be too hard to do. And we want to start reaching out. And what's very, very important is when you do reach out, you don't want to sound like a scam. Don't sound like a bot, don't go to GPT and say, how do I outreach to entrepreneurs if I'm trying to sell them fat loss? Because you're going to get some generic message with some stupid looking emojis, and it's just, you're not going to get any replies because people are going to think you're a scam from a mile away. You want to be genuine as you can. You want to be as genuine as you can, and you want to reach out. So I would recommend you don't use a templated message. Manually write your message from scratch and go from there. So we want to find these people. We want to generate a list of these people. If you have a little bit of money, sometimes what you can do is you can go to what's called list builders, and you can actually pay them for an already curated list. The downside of that is they've probably already sold that list to other people, so those people have already been reached out to, likelihood, but it's okay. The name of the game now of how to get these people to buy my thing is entirely a numbers game. And what's very, very important is that when you're trying to sell these people, when you're reaching out to these people, don't try and sell them your thing from the message. The point of the message, the point of talking to them is to generate a conversation. You want to get them to reply. Because if you have a conversation, that's where a conversion will happen. A mentor of mine, a guy called Taki Moore, who I learned a lot from, had this phrase, conversions happen in conversations. I've made other videos about this in the past, but this is what you want. You want to have an exchange of dialogue about this specific topic. So the message is designed to get a reply. Hey, so for example, what are the components that you need to get a reply? The person needs to not think that you're a robot or a bot or a templated message, because that's almost certainly never going to get a reply, because no one wants to reply to, no one wants to be used or to reply to a machine. You need to sound genuine, and you need to do something that grabs their attention. So you can get creative, but the best way to get creative at this is by having practice and by doing it. So depending on your offer, you want to just say, hey, the name, hope you're doing well. You want the message to be personalized. So say something that's unique to them. Look at their social media. Do some digging on the person and find out what you can find out about them, and find something that can only be specific to them, so that they absolutely know that you didn't use, a bot or something like that. And then tell them, I saw that you were X avatar, or find a way to delve into that, and then tell them about what you do and who you are. Tell them a little bit about your offer. Don't tell them how much it costs. Just tell them, this is what I do. Mention a risk reversal if you have one. If you have any proof of results from other people, if you have them. And then ask, would this be relevant to you, or is this worth a conversation? If it is, get back to me and maybe we can get on a call and talk about how we can do this for you as well. Now you're going to want to test. So the name of the game, as I mentioned before, is completely about volume. So we're going to want to do hundreds of messages in the next 7 days to have a shot at making $5,000. So we're going to do these messages. We're going to message to as many people as we can, and every 50 messages or so, we're going to analyze how many messages got a reply. So keep the strategy relatively the same for the 50 messages. How many of them got a reply? Did any of them book a call? So once they reply, you talk to them a little bit. Then you say, hey, I think I'd love to see if this is worth it. Let's get on a call and see if my programs are fit for you. Something like that. You get them on a call, and then you can go through another you go through a sales process on the call there, and sell them your products. Again, this needs to be done the right way. So I can make other videos in the future about how to close people. If that's interesting to you, just put it in the comments. And we'll want to sell them on our product. But the name of the game is outreach. So you're going to do 50 messages, and you're going to assess the statistics. How many got a reply? How many booked a call? How many were opened, maybe, depending on the mechanism. Because if you're doing email, you can test email subject line open rates. And then you're going to iterate to see what the best messages had in common. So for the next 50 messages, you're going to do more of what worked in the first 50. And then you're going to assess again. Then you're going to repeat that process until you've hit, maybe 100 messages a day, 150, 200 messages a day. The thing is that this is going to be ugly. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be exciting. You're going to be going 8 to 10 hours a day of just messaging people, and it's going to be shit. But if you have no audience, no money, nothing, and all you got is time, and you need to make $5,000 by the end of the week, that's what we got to do. We got to go through a bit of pain. And largely that's what I did when I started my businesses online. My first business, that's what I did. I just did pure online outreach on Instagram to CEOs. It was a health and performance coaching company. I had no employees, I had no money, I had no experience, I had nothing for the most part, no audience. And all I had was just my time. And so I spent hours and hours and hours DMing hundreds of people. And that's how I made I would say that's probably how I made my first 50K, was just by doing that, just by doing outreach. So effectively, that's what I would do if I had to start from scratch today. I would Start by figuring out what I'm gonna sell. Don't overthink this too much. What are you good at that can be valuable for people? What problem have you solved for yourself? I'm gonna figure out who I'm gonna sell it to. So just pick someone with money who could benefit from your problem. And I am going to look far and wide to the depths of the internet, and I'm gonna ask as many people as I can if they're interested in buying my stuff. If they are, we get them on a call, we talk to them, have a conversation with them, see, can this help them? Do they have the problem, most importantly, which if they reply to you, they probably do. Figure out why they have the problem, show them why you can help them fix the problem, make them an offer, but also, if you want, make them a guarantee of some kind. And then sell them your program, one-to-one coaching. You're gonna hold your hand, you're gonna hold their hand, you're gonna do everything for them for 3 months and get them the result. And if they don't get the result, you're gonna give them the money back. And that's how you do it. It sounds simple. But the point is that if you're earlier in your journey, you need to understand that, because this is one thing that I had when I was starting out, is I was terrified that I was doing the wrong thing. I was terrified that I was doing the wrong thing. But I just need you to know that if you are early on, you are not doing the wrong thing, you are on the right path. You just need to do more, and results just take time. They just take time. So with that being said, go out there, make some money. If it doesn't work in 7 days, just keep going. It might take longer. But just tell people about your stuff and sell it to them. And that's what I would do. Either way, hope this was helpful. If it was, awesome. Watch my other videos. I make a bunch of videos about online business, how to scale an audience, and so on and so forth. And if it wasn't helpful, then thank you for watching. Either way, take care. We'll speak soon.